By the late 1930s, the promise of Philippine independence had become a distant hope. The United States had set 1946 as a potential end date for its colonial rule, but events in the Pacific would erupt long before then. In December 1941, just hours after bombing Pearl Harbor, Japan invaded the Philippines. It wasn't just another battlefield, it was a symbol. The Japanese positioned themselves as liberators of Asia, vowing to free the Philippines from Western control. But this promise would quickly reveal itself to be another empire's lie. The Japanese occupation was one of the darkest chapters in Philippine history. Japanese forces quickly overran American and Filipino troops. In April 1942, tens of thousands of Filipino and American soldiers were forced to march over 100 kilometers in the Bataan Death March, with no food, no water, and under brutal heat. Those who collapsed were bayoneted or shot. Over 10,000 people died, and this was just the beginning. Manila, once known as the Pearl of the Orient, became a battlefield. Entire neighborhoods were bombed, civilians were massacred, women were raped, abducted, and forced into sexual slavery as so-called comfort women. The Japanese military's cruelty was systematic and merciless. But resistance burned strong. Filipino guerrilla groups sprang up across the islands. These were not just military units, they were communities in arms. Farmers, students, elders, and even children supported the underground movement. Together with remaining American forces, they waged a difficult, determined war. In 1944, General Douglas MacArthur returned to the Philippines, fulfilling his famous vow, "I shall return." A bloody campaign followed. The Battle of Manila in 1945 was one of the fiercest urban battles of World War II. Over 100,000 civilians were killed, and the city was left in ruins, second only to Warsaw in devastation. But finally, the Japanese were driven out, and on July 4, 1946, the United States officially recognized the independence of the Republic of the Philippines. It was a moment of pride and of painful reflection. Yes, the flag now belonged to the Filipino people, but beneath it were scars left by centuries of conquest. From Spain to the United States and then Japan, the Filipino people had survived not one colonizer, but three. They had fought, bled, and risen again and again. But did the end of official colonization mean true freedom? In the next section, we'll explore the post-independence era, the continued U.S. influence, economic dependency, and how neocolonialism shaped modern-day Philippines.